Morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of MSATP TV. Joining me this morning is Rob Smith, who's going to talk to us a little bit about some of the things and the cool things that he can do with OneNote. So, Rob, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you and what you want to talk about today?
Hi, my name is Rob Smith, and I've been a CPA for many years. Started at a big firm, bought my own firm, merged that firm in with another firm, bought a couple more firms, and kind of over the years, just kind of built a small practice into a much bigger practice. And I did most of that through the use of technology by figuring out how I can get more stuff done a lot quicker. And about 6 years ago, I came across a program called OneNote. And I've always struggled with information. I'm one of the most unorganized people you've ever met, and just keeping track of all the amount of information that we have as an accountant was just completely crippling me. Because I'd basically created most of the processes within the firm, I was constantly being bombarded by people asking me how to do things. So I started to basically take everything that was in my head and I put it into Microsoft OneNote. And when I did that, whenever somebody came up and asked me how to do something, I just said, hey, go look in OneNote. This freed me up. And it kind of gave me this idea that I can keep all this information in one place where other people can access it, so I can actually get my own work done, but more importantly, be able to delegate and scale my business the way that I want it done. Because if I tell somebody to do something and then they tell somebody to do something, pretty soon there's a loss in translation. And one of the things that I would like to show you today is this idea of a dashboard. I've been using it I've been using it for my business clients for a couple years. And then one day in the middle of tax season, it was February 22nd, I think, in the middle of tax season, I had this idea to create a dashboard for every 1040 client that we had. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't know how many big projects are started in the middle of tax season. People thought I was crazy. My partners thought I was crazy. So I went in, I had a lunch and learn for the staff. And I went in and said, listen, guys, what do you think about creating a dashboard for every 1040 client? Now, it's completely up to you. If you don't want to do it, we won't do it. They 100% agreed to do that. I mean, think about that. The staff wanted to take this project on because they knew how much of a benefit it was going to be. Kind of blew me away. So we did it. And it was one of the most amazing things that we basically ever did. So let's kind of jump in and kind of talk about, what do I mean by a dashboard?
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you.
Well, great question.
What's up with a dashboard?
Okay, so here's exactly what a dashboard is. Okay, let's go back kind of to the 80s. Back in the 80s, it was really easy to know where stuff was because we would go, we'd walk over. There'd probably be a table with a big cubby full of forms, and we'd take a form out and we'd fill the form out, and then we'd go file that form in the filing cabinet, and we knew exactly where the information was. If we needed to fill something out or add something to it, we'd go to the file room, grab that form, fill it out, and put it back. But we knew where that stuff was. But ever since the invention of documents, we just start, and because it's so simple just to save a document, people are constantly just creating little documents all over the place and saving them in 30,000 different places. I mean, it's crazy how much information is scattered all over our lives, whether it's in a document, an email, a Post-it note in our head, on some screen everywhere. But just think about one topic, think about a client. And if you are going to delegate, that tax return to one of your staff members, where's all that information stored? It's in your head. It's on this. You may know where it's at, like the back of your hand, but you've been doing it for what? How many years have you been doing it? It's easy for you, but to delegate, it's almost impossible. So what do you end up doing?
Doing it yourself.
Doing it yourself, and that's where I was stuck until I realized that if I could put everything in one place and everybody else knew where it was, then I'm liberated. Now I can actually delegate well, because one of the biggest things that scared me was when I first started getting staff, it really scared me because you know how many simple mistakes were made because of something that I knew that was in my head that my staff didn't know. So my staff asked the question. And then I get these phone calls like, Rob, you knew this. What do you mean you don't? Why do you have a staff person asking me this? You know this. It was embarrassing. So when I went to this idea of a dashboard, this is where I could put that information that was sitting in my head that I knew. Now I had a place to put it. So going back to this 80s. So what I did was I created a form that looks something like this for every client, every 1040 client that we had. We had 1,000 1040 clients. So we went in, copied this form 1,000 times. Now it didn't look exactly like this. It looks a little bit different back then, but essentially we've got a form that looks like this. If you can take a look at this form right here, think of how much information you can put on this. Okay, across the top, well, let me kind of break down the form a little bit. The top line is where are you going, the most important thing about that client is going to go on this line right there.
Well, hopefully that's their name.
Well, their name's going to be right here. Their name right here will go right here. So let's say this is Tom Jones.
Okay.
Okay, we'll put Tom Jones right here. So we're going to label the form right here. Tom Jones and Sue. So Tom Jones and Sue. So the reason we're going to put the name right there, and if I click off this and go somewhere else, see this little search bar right here, for me to get back to his page, you see the search bar right here?
Uh-huh.
I come right here and I type in Jones. I can type in Sue Jones and come right to, I can either search for Sue Jones or I can search for Tom Jones. But either way, it's going to find that page. I can click on it and get right back to their page. So no matter where I'm at, I can be, as long as I'm in OneNote, I can be on any other completely notebook. I can be on any one of my other notebooks. Okay. I can be completely somewhere else. But if I come into the search bar, I'm going to be able to find that sheet of paper as I'm picking up the phone. Okay. So if I come back over here, I'm nowhere near there. I just type in, as I'm picking up the phone, I just type in Jones, find his page, come right to it, and then I'm there.
Well, that's pretty cool.
So as I'm picking up the phone, I'm on their page. So now if they tell me something important, this is where I'm going to put that information because it's sitting right there. The hardest part about capturing knowledge is having a place to immediately put it somewhere and to be able to access it when you need it.
Right.
So if you can access this sheet of paper as you're picking up the phone, take your notes and then go on your day, the next time somebody comes back to the sheet of paper, those notes are going to be right there.
That's pretty awesome.
Okay. Now so let's kind of break down. This is one version of a dashboard. What we're going to do in the class is we're going to start with this dashboard and then you're going to customize it for your specific firm because maybe you don't care about some of the stuff I have on my form. So you're going to customize this form for yourself and make it your own. You're going to make a ton of copies for everybody, and then you can customize that form for each client. So you're going to have a customized form of a customized form, and that's going to fit your firm exactly and the way you do things and what's important for you. But the anatomy of what a dashboard has is so much more than just typing on a sheet of paper. Across the top, what I use this for is this is the most important thing that I need to know, whether it's I need to tell the client something next time I talk to them or never mention something. Okay. We had a couple clients that had an ex-spouse, or we were doing both brothers' businesses because they split. If the brothers knew that we had done their work, we would have lost both of them instantly. So I wanted to make sure my staff never mentioned the other brother, because you know how easy it is, like, oh, are you related to so-and-so? You know how that could just come off the head. Right. So we had in there, never mention the other brother, right there in Big Brother. So whenever any staff saw it, they knew that. Okay. Or it could just be, make sure you get, this information next time you talk to them, because I don't want to forget. Okay.
Okay.
This section right here is a helper hyperlink section. Okay. Because not all the information is going to fit on this OneNote page. There's going to be information about the client that exists in other places. And I call those structured data. For example, there may be a website that you've got information about the client, tax software, QuickBooks. Maybe you find their real estate taxes. You can link to that. But if you think about it, where does other information about that client exist? Whether it's on your server, Teams, ShareFile, Lisio, any other program. You may know where it's at, but even if you go there and click there, how many clicks does it normally take you to get where you're going? 5, 6 clicks possibly. Well, if you come here, you're gonna have a hyperlink right. This right here is gonna have a hyperlink to every place where it exists for that client. But not only that, what if you have a staff? You may know where everything exists, but your staff doesn't. So all they have to do is come to this one page and you have summarized every location in your world about that client right here. So if it doesn't exist on this page, it'll hyperlink you to where you need to go.
Now, is this something you can hire a staff person to do?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what you need to be doing basically from this fall, like from the rest of November, December, go in there and have people start filling this out for you ahead of time. The more time you can pull out of tax season and into non-busy time, the more time, I mean, to me, 5 minutes in tax season, or, you know, half an hour, or what's the time of tax return time? What's a half an hour in tax season worth versus out of tax season? You know, I would give an hour for 5 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Not that it's going to take that long, but every time saved, if it's not in tax season, it's like double, triple, quadruple the amount of time savings. So for example, real estate taxes right here, you could go in there, link to find every real estate tax link in December and put the hyperlink right there. So when you get into tax season, you need to click on the real estate tax links, just click on it and it takes you right there. If it saves you a minute 50 or a minute and a half for every client, and you've got X amount of clients, well, that just saved you 3, 4, or 5 hours in the middle of tax season.
Right.
Okay. So then you can have other information here. Right here, I've got contact information. Now it may be elsewhere, but it's really going to be really simple. I just have to type their name and come right here and I can see this. And you can even turn the hyperlink to email by typing in mail to. By putting the word mail to and a colon in front of an email, it actually turns it into a hyperlink. So now all you have to do is click on this and it'll actually generate an email right from the get-go, saving you even having to type in the email. Okay, so we're going to have all this information right here. One of the other things too that I kind of added that was kind of neat was in this area right over here, this box right here, I actually put pictures of my clients. I'd find pictures on the internet and I'd put them in there because I found that my staff, if they saw a picture of a person, it actually made them, you know, understand that it was actually a person and not just a name behind the numbers. And if they walked in the door, my admin person knew who the person was. Not that we're going into many offices anymore, but still, just having a picture of what the person looked like, to me, made it a lot more personal.
Sure.
But essentially, that's what we're going to be able to do. You're going to be able to come in, create a dashboard for all of your 1040 clients, customize this for exactly what you want your firm to do, and then teach you how to copy it and start using it. So then during this upcoming tax season, you're going to be able to come in and as you start every tax return, type their name in and immediately go right to their page and add information no matter what it is. Now, this is just sample data, but you're going to be able to come in and be able, whether it's a scanned document of some notes that you took because you want to keep this, that's why we keep these little sticky notes, because my handwriting on the sticky note means a lot more than if I were to basically have typed, gone in there and typed in something because I could have transposed the number. Right. But the dashboard to me is one of the simplest and easiest way to be able to capture all that unstructured data that has no other place to exist and put it into one spot. And then not only will we do this for 1040 dashboards, but we're also going to sit down.
You do it for businesses?
And we're going to do it for businesses too. You're going to be able to come in and create something for your business dashboard where you've got your most important information. Once again, hyperlinks to every place that exists for that client, contact information, and any other information that you do for the client. So in this case right here, one client was using this and they wanted to go then and say, look, these are all of this is all the services we're doing. Are we doing it for them? They wanted to know, if the staff sat down, what are we actually doing for the client? because the partner knows, but the other staff may not. And then it's also a way to be like, oh, maybe we can actually upsell, because I noticed that we're not doing something for that client. Maybe we can upsell it, because not only did it let staff know what was going on, but it actually increased sales, because they sat there and it was because it was out of mind, not out of mind, out of sight. And they saw it. They said, hey, would you do some, would you like to do some planning? Because it was sitting right there. And it actually generated.
Very good.
But yeah, but that right there is the business. Those right there are the ideas of what a dashboard is. We're going to teach you how to customize these, create these, and then use these for this upcoming tax season.
All right. And your class is going to be held on December the 6th and the 16th of this year. And we'll be able to work with our people to get them set up for dashboards and everything else.
Yeah,
so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, we're in the first class. We're going to go in. We're going to kind of teach you how to do this, give you a week to go off and do it, and then basically come back again, and then we'll discuss what we did, what worked, what didn't work, and then share ideas of what other people are doing. So instead of it just coming from your mind, we're going to be able to share what other people are doing, and then hopefully you'll be able to take some of those ideas and incorporate those into your own dashboard yourself.
Okay. Well, Rob, thank you very much for joining us today.
Well, you're welcome. I was glad to anytime. But yeah, I'm glad to share this idea, because this truly really changed my firm, and especially the ability for me to delegate to my staff.
All right. Well, thank you very much. And I look forward to hearing from you from the next episode.
Have a good day.
Take care.